So as you can see, the theme of this channel is me talking about work a lot, right? And I realized while talking about these entry-level jobs I've had is that I noticed is I've never told you guys how I never got promoted at these jobs. So today, y'all, I'm talking about how I never got promoted at my jobs, and I'm honestly kind of glad because I realize it's kind of toxic and there's a lot of bad things when it comes to promotions at work. When I worked at the Hy-Vee grocery store when I was 18 years old, I was like really wanting to be a manager at some point to try to get a raise because for some reason I thought back in the day it was like 13 bucks an hour to be a manager at a grocery store. And for some odd reason I thought, man, this is a lot of money. Like I used to think that 900 bucks every 2 weeks was a lot of money. And looking back at that age at 19, yes, it was a lot of money. But in reality, it really ain't shit if you pay bills. But you know, at least back then things weren't super crazy or expensive as fuck. But now it's like, damn, everything is now kind of like super all over the place. But I don't know why. Back then, I really wanted to get a promotion to be a manager at this grocery store. So I thought, you know, I like this job. I really want to pursue something more. So I thought I'd try really hard to try to pursue to be a manager. And boy, I realized really quickly that that shit is almost impossible to do by just working hard at this job. Because at this particular job, there was this weird culty vibe I had where they had people where instead of like what you know, it's who you know, you know. And this is where these type of people would just randomly get asked to be a manager. It doesn't matter how hard they worked and shit at this place. It was just more like, hey, we need someone to be a manager. And if someone was kind of like a coworker that's already acting like a manager, they already kind of ask them to be one for the most part. And that's how I kind of realized is that back then, even now, you have to kiss a lot of ass just to try to get promoted at these type of jobs. And the crazy thing is that you have to do some of the wildest shit sometimes at work just to try to get promoted. Like there was a guy who was a manager at the grocery store, and he was one of my friends, right? Like we were really close and stuff. Like we were really good work buddies. And the crazy thing is that how he got promoted was he kissed a lot of ass by just standing up to like the corporation's rules and stuff, even though they were very inconsistent and flawed at best. And I've also noticed that like he started like bossing more people around and stuff. And then that's when I kind of realized was, yeah, this dude isn't really my friend anymore. So as soon as he became a manager, unfortunately, he started acting completely different just so he could get a higher up promotion. And that's not what I wanted. So I was like, yeah, I'm kind of good on that. And the crazy part is too was I was pursuing YouTube on the side the whole time, so it's not like I was in the like pressure of trying to get a giant income with the job, but I just wanted to because I used to think 13 bucks an hour was a lot, and I just wanted, you know, something more, I guess, fulfilling. I was also very naive of like how much of a responsibility a manager has at the grocery store. Like it's not just managing like the front aisles online with the groceries and shit. Like you have to basically open up the whole store if it's small enough, or you have to also be responsible for every little employee, even if it's not your fault. And that shit's crazy too. And also I didn't realize is the higher ups will completely bitch and complain about every little thing, even if it's not your fault. And that's when I realized too that, yeah, maybe this thing isn't worth it. I've also heard stories from my other friends that did not work at the same job as me, also got promoted to be some higher up. And yeah, he did not like it. Like, and the only reason why he did it was because he was waiting for the union to call him for the trades to be an electrician, but he only did it so he could build a giant savings so he doesn't have to be poor ever. And I don't blame him for that, dude. But he did not like it because he had to sell his soul for the entire corporation to put on his fake, like, you know, customer service persona just so he could keep his job. Because if you were to try to be real with any people outside, like, you know, of the fucking employees, that, you know, they wouldn't like that and you get probably demoted. It's crazy too because there's a lot of crazy drama being a manager as well. I've heard crazy stories of like fast food managers as well too. And also I gotta say is that one of my fucking managers, man, some of them don't even deserve their roles because of how fucking dramatic and crazy they are. Like I remember at my current job right now, I have a manager that's literally getting upset at me for working because I'm making her anxious. I'm like, I ain't making you anxious, man. Like I'm just trying to do my part just like everybody else. But for some reason, this person does not even like their fucking feet swept, and she literally spat on the fucking you know broom one time, and I thought that shit was weird. And you know, a couple of my buddies and I kind of confirmed that yeah, she's probably a witch or something because she kind of looked the part, you know. Back to the topic. After that incident, I kind of realized is like, yeah, I don't think I ever want to get promoted at any job, and I just want to pursue something that genuinely makes me happy, which was the YouTube channel, because that's what I wanted to be, was a content creator. And I'm just kind of glad that I don't have to fucking kiss booty just to kind of grow a channel. I just gotta basically make good videos that people like to enjoy and the algorithm pleases too. And I'm really glad that people fucking like this stuff, so it's really nice to fucking be able to find something like this. Another thing I do remember at the grocery store I worked at too was there was this manager, right? That was a regular employee just like us. She was very young. She was 19 and everything. And I do remember that she was also kissing booty and acting like a fucking toxic manager already, bossing people around, trying to make people do shit, which is absolutely irritating because if you're not a manager, I ain't going to listen to you, you know? And what's crazy is when she got promoted, she started getting all bossy and very picky and really just petty with everything that was going on. Like I remember she was writing people up for wearing certain types of shoes that were still work related because one was like fabric instead of leather or something like that. And she also claimed that the fucking texture made her a little anxious and not professional enough because she was fucking, super corporate and bullshit like that. And she actually got sucked so much cock that she got promoted up to like, to be a store owner. And the crazy part is she owned the store, right? At a different like grocery store, and there was like a rumor that she was probably gonna fuck up and fail because she wasn't that good at her job. And I don't really get involved in that type of shit, but for some odd reason, when you're at a fucking toxic workplace like this, you'll hear like random drama just randomly come to you randomly at times, even if you don't ask for it. And this wasn't the only time too. I've had some weird managers like this happen. Like I'll never forget where a guy also at Walmart that I worked at for over a year and a half. He also sucked off the corporation to try to get promoted. And what they did was when he got promoted, that the guy actually was getting verbally abused super bad by the higher ups, that he had a mental breakdown, started throwing everything off the shelves and everything, started throwing a fit, said F this place, and like threw his badge down and walked out and like caused a giant scene and mess. I remember like hearing some guys scream and say F this, F that, and I kind of knew that it was a employee of some kind just putting in their fucking, for their 2 weeks, more like fucking 2 minutes, but it was pretty funny because I remember laughing because I'm like, oh, it's just some guy. But then I realized it was a fucking manager and you just couldn't take it anymore for a bunch of verbal abuse from the higher ups. And I thought, wow, that kind of made me realize too is like, yeah, I don't want to fucking do this at all as a manager. And that's when I was like really sad at Walmart too because the toxic work culture there with the terrible fucking, terrible fucking rules at times was just crazy. The crazy weird thing about Walmart is that there's a lot of good workers I knew that got fired for, lack of productivity, quote unquote. And it was insane because no matter how fast you went at Walmart, the bosses would be like, hey, go faster. But the funny part is these managers will not help you most of the time. A lot of them be complaining about their job as well, which is also kind of crazy and unprofessional. But then again, it's a fucking Walmart. And then like not even that, like they also be, just gossiping too and stuff. And then also targeting certain people. Like I remember at a job in Florida when I used to live there with my parents that I worked at a neighborhood market there because I worked at two Walmarts, one when I moved out in Missouri and one in Florida. That I remember that I was getting targeted a lot when I came back to the Florida Walmart from moving out, not working out, and literally they just for some reason they choose and pick certain people and just treat them like crap. It's really crazy. I do remember my early time at Walmart too is that when someone mentioned that, oh, do you want to become a manager or higher up or move up, and I was like, nope, and they were like, why not? I'm like, hell nah, because I've seen everything that's happened, and now like I realize I've made the right choice. And now at my current job at McDonald's, I noticed there was a manager that used to work there. He was pretty cool and everything. I mean, he's still a really cool guy. I kind of miss him, but I don't blame him. He got a way better job now. And he was telling me that how at McDonald's that he was a manager, obviously, been there for 4 years. He got picked to be a manager. And they don't even have control of their lives hardly. Like when you're a manager, you have no control of your personal life whatsoever. Whatever goes is what the corporation says too. And he telling me that like there's times he worked like fucking till like midnight and then had to be back in the morning at 6 a.m., which is crazy, or even earlier at times because someone didn't show up. And what's even more wild is like if someone does not show up, a manager, and not do their part, they have to basically work double shifts at times and they get fucked over. And this also applies if you're like an owner of the store or the owner store manager too. And I gotta say, dude, store manager sounds awful too because there's a lot of people that make like maybe like a couple like $1,000 more a year just being a store manager than just being a regular like shift manager. It's kind of crazy. And another crazy thing I gotta say about some of these managers out here is that a lot of them be abusing their powers too. Like I remember at Walmart there was this guy who had a crush on like underage high school girls. and you could tell they were minors because they had this yellow name tag to know that they were a minor. And yeah, this guy would just try to hit on every single high schooler ever. And then like he'd also try to say some fucked up shit, like saying, "Yeah, I can't wait till you're 18" and all this crazy crap. Like, bro, like what is fucking wrong with you? And this went around the store pretty quickly, and I've actually kind of saw this dude himself to pull this stunt. And yeah, it was like, whoa, like, no. Like, there was a lot of creepy people at Walmart. For some odd reason, dude, Walmart did not give a fuck. They hired literally anyone. Even if you have, like, a fucking, criminal sex record or background. If you're a sex offender, they'll hire you most likely, depending on how long it's been. And the one thing I will say, too, is that at Amazon, too, like, the Amazon managers were also very petty and weird. And some of them were also very lifeless. Like, I'll never forget that one of them was, like, an alcoholic and was constantly trying to bring up vodka to work, but they would hide their vodka in like a weird like water bottle or something to try to play it off as, oh, it's water. Bro, it ended up not being water. And the crazy shit is that like there was some drama that went down because I guess he got drunk and it showed, and the manager ended up getting fired on the spot. And not even that, like they started like try to seduce some of the fucking coworkers too by flirting with them because they were so drunk. And this was a fucking female too, trying to fucking I don't know, man, she just had a lot of problems. And you could obviously tell too that she was reeking of booze because you could just smell it off somebody's breath sometimes, or it's bad when you just walk past them, you can just smell nothing but like hardcore booze. And it definitely smelled like vodka, and I was like, whoa. And I was really shocked too that no one like got fired for it or at the time, like, or got caught so much sooner. I don't know why, like they just didn't fucking care or what, but it was just weird. And for some odd reason at the warehouses jobs, like a lot of these managers will try to write you up if they don't like you for some reason and try to get you fired behind your back. It's really sad because there's some people that try to write me up for like wearing not particular safety gear when I was, and it was just fucking ridiculous, man. I don't know why people do this, but yeah, man, I can go all day about managers because I've dealt with so many different types of managers, and some of them were cool, but most of them, man, they had so much shit on them that you could tell so many stories. But yeah, that kind of explains like why I did not want to get promotion of any kind, because once I kind of see something like this on the sideline, man, like I know everybody's experience is different and everything with being a manager, but fuck no, dude. Like it's not worth it in the long run. Nowadays, I'd be showing up to work, just kind of do my part, maybe talk to a few people, be friendly with them, and then just go home. Anyways, everybody, that is the reason why I did not want to be a manager or get promoted of some kind, because it's not worth it. But anyways, if you guys have any type of stories of what you dealt with your types of managers at work, or what fucked up things they've done, or what happened to you if you got promoted at a job, feel free to talk about it because I love to hear it. Also, I did not clarify and say this earlier, but thank you guys so much for 13,000 subscribers. It really is wonderful to see this type of growth so shortly. It's been maybe about 6 months, not even that yet, and I'm really grateful that all this has been happening so quickly. And I know there's more competition now on YouTube with the Call of Duty commentary scene, but you know what? It's still worth it, and at the end of the day, man, it's been a lot of fun just interacting with y'all. Also, I do have some more good news that my dad is currently still undergoing surgery now before he gets chemotherapy to try to get some of that cancer out of his body. And I'm really excited to see what's happening, and I hope he feels better, because the crazy thing is he is still walking and moving around a little bit, but he's just definitely losing weight, but he will lose all the rest of his hair. But it's not like he had much of hair to begin with. He's like only 60 years old, which is kind of crazy because it's kind of young for that, but then again, it could happen to anybody. Alrighty, everybody, thank you for listening, and I'll see y'all in the next video. So peace out, and y'all stay cool.